Hello and welcome back. Today is a day where we have to bake some bread. I planned on making a barley bread, what we eat a lot in Germany. It is a sourdough bread. First things first, the water. It has to be at least room temperature. Best would be if you could have it around 30 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius, not above 40 degrees. It's important for the sourdough, it likes it really warm. So I have 310 grams of water here. You might have to add a little bit more later on, depending on your flour. So the next thing is the sourdough. And for that I need my scale, because I need 300 grams. So this goes, you see how bubbly that is? So that goes in there. That's a little bit too much, but that is no problem at all. Here we go, making a mess. And what you do is you stir it in really well so it dissolves with the water. And then when that is done, add the flour. I have 300 grams of barley and 300 grams of wheat flour and diastatic malt. That's all we're gonna use for now. What happens now is I'm gonna put this in my KitchenAid and let it just mix it so everything is combined, and then I allow it to rest for 1 hour. This step is called autolysis. Sorry, I had to find the right English word. Happens. So that helps the sourdough to get started and produce the yeast what we need, so the dough later on can improve very well. The KitchenAid has worked great and mixed all the ingredients together, the water, the sourdough, the flour and the malt. I let this rest for 1 hour now. Cover it with a lid and put it into a warm place. So if you have an oven with a bread proofing function, that is perfect. If not, what I often use is just a regular cooler box with a kombucha heat mat in there, and that keeps it at the right temperature just perfectly fine as well. So in 1 hour, the next step happens. See you then. I have a little bit sourdough left over. That is normal, because every time when I start a sourdough, I add 150 grams of water and 150 grams of flour, so I have new sourdough for my next baking. So this is always a leftover what I need to keep, so I have my starter for next time. So I just put it in a jar. And of course it doesn't want to do that in front of the camera as nicely as it usually does that. It's just Murphy's Law, I guess. So I close it. It goes in the fridge until I use it the next time. Okay, 1 hour has passed and the dough looks like this now. And we have still a few ingredients we have to add. One is the salt. By the way, don't add the salt before the 1 hour. It is important that there's no salt in there, so we add it after the autolysis is done. And the olive oil. Now everything goes back into the KitchenAid for about 10 minutes. Then I take it out there, and then we gonna knead it a little bit by hand and form it into a loaf. Okay, KitchenAid was busy and combined a nice dough for us, but we still have to knead it by hand a little bit more, give it more structure. So first thing, I need to get this out, and for this I use a little tiny bit of rice flour not very much, but I like to use rice flour. You also can use just regular flour if you don't have rice flour. No problem at all. So, and you can see how it's already doing its job. It's fantastic. So, but bread needs a shape. And to get to this point, we need to knead it by hand. And I like to do it by hand because this way I can feel when the dough is getting to the point I need it. Also, you don't want to add too much flour when you knead it. Just when you knead it, so it doesn't stick to your surface or to your hands too much. So try to avoid using an abundance amount of flour. Even though you can do that the whole process in the KitchenAid, but I still think it makes a difference. But this is for you to decide what you like best. And it's a good workout as well. Here we go. Because after a while you feel like it gets harder, a little bit harder, not much, but a little bit harder to knead. And then you are pretty close to the point where your dough is ready to be shaped. Need a little bit flour, so a little bit more. What you also can do is you can take a break for, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes and just see how your dough reacts. If it keeps the shape pretty much, it's good to go. If it flattens out a lot, then you need to knead more. Okay, I'm gonna see you in a couple minutes then. So I left it for about 5 minutes and you can see it pretty well kept its shape. And the one thing what I gonna do now is I gonna do a stretch and fold. So I gonna stretch and fold, stretch and fold. This way I get more structure in it and also can form it into the way I would like. And I do it a little bit in oval shape, not round. I can't say that word so well in English, sorry. Because I'm gonna use my bread proofing basket, and usually what you do is you put some flour or rice flour in there and put the dough in, and then it gets this nice markings from the basket. But I decided to use my Dutch oven, so I use some parchment paper to make it easier to get the loaf into the super hot Dutch oven. So I transfer my loaf in here, squeeze it a little, and then I cover it with a tea towel. And now it needs to proof again for 1 to 3 hours. It really depends on temperature and your loaf itself. The best temperature to do that is around 25 degrees Celsius. Shake every once in a while, and when it has significantly, well, improved quite well, then it is good to go and ready for the oven. Don't forget to preheat your oven early enough so it has a lot of heat as well. Using my Dutch oven, I don't need a water bath or a bowl with water in the bottom of my oven. If you don't use a Dutch oven, just take a fire-proofed pan, bowl, something, put it in the oven on the lowest rack, and then just when you put the loaf in the oven for baking, you add some water so you have some steam and it can improve and break open nicely in the oven. It is time to preheat the oven. We need quite a hot temperature in there, but before I do that, I wanted to show you how I proof my bread when I can't use my bread proofing function on my oven. This is a regular cooler box, and in here I have a heat mat. It's just a simple kombucha heat mat, and the nice thing is you can adjust the temperature here with a little thermometer thingy, and this is how the loaf looks right now. It needs still a little bit time, but since I'm going to use the Dutch oven today and I want to be 100% sure that that one is at the right temperature as well, I start my oven early. So on the bake function, 270 degrees Celsius with the Dutch oven inside, so it can warm up quite nicely. The bread is ready to be baked, so let's do that. I go and grab my super hot Dutch oven, already prepared. I try not to burn myself because that thing is really, really hot. And close the oven, take off the lid, and it is smoking a little. Now I transfer my bread into it, trying to get it somewhat in the center. And I have a bread lame, and I just pour it a little bit. So I think I pulled it a little bit more over. So put the lid back on, and in the oven it goes. I only can tell you to be really careful because it is really hot, and I talk from experience because I burned myself badly already. So this needs to stay in there for 20 minutes, and then we lower the temperature and take off the lid. The first 20 minutes are over, so now we remove the lid and reduce the temperature. Trying not to burn myself again. And here we go. I hope you can see that, but it is broken nicely. It really looks fantastic. So now I lower the temperature to 200 degrees. For only 10 minutes. So time is up again, 10 minutes. And now we lower the temperature again, one more time. But first I show you how it looks like. It already is getting a nice color. So cancel everything here and set the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius. And this time I do another 20 minutes. You want to shake every once in a while. You can lower the temperature when the dough or the loaf gets too dark in the color and you want it a little bit lighter. That is not a problem. So I'm gonna see you then in 20 minutes, I guess. As you can see, I got my gloves on. So the bread is ready. Let's take it out of the oven. It smells already just fantastic. So here we go. Oh. Look at that. Doesn't that look just awesome? So I try to get this out of here. No, that doesn't work. Of course, it is super, super hot. But here, look. There's actually a simple test to know if it is done or not. You just need to knock on the bottom. Hear that? That's the sound, so you know it is all finished and done. What do you think? Does look good, hey? I hope you enjoyed my little video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. It's no problem at all. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, then please subscribe. It's for free, doesn't cost you a penny. Thank you for watching. See you again.